Hi, I'm Ben from Strings by Mail, and we're going to discuss changing guitar strings on an electric guitar. We're actually going to go over one string, because once you change one string, the process is the same for the rest of the guitar. But we're also going to go over different bridge styles and nuts and locking tuners at the end of the video. But let's get to the string changing. A good work surface is very important. We've got a nice flat surface. You can see the guitar is tilted just for demonstration purposes so you can see a little better. A nice flat surface. We are actually using a Dunlop neck cradle. It holds the guitar nice and firm and also allows for nice workspace at the headstock. Tools. Tools are really important. You gotta have the right tools for the right job. String cutters, so you can clip the strings off and the tails at the end. We got a peg winder, so we can make the process a little quicker, taking the strings off. And in optional pliers, sometimes the strings, especially the thinner strings, might break or get stuck at the post, so you can kind of yank them out without damaging your fingers. And obviously some type of tuning device. Now, as far as changing the string, the first step is if you have a floating bridge, you want to protect the guitar surface, because once you release all the strings, it's going to drop. Well, we're going to use a little piece of cardboard here. Now, step one is to loosen all the strings. Remember, we can do this in a batch process. So you can actually go and loosen up all the strings in one shot. And we're only going to do one string here, but what you can do is you can do all 6 strings. As a tip, what I like to do is loosen the peg so that the hole is perpendicular to the neck. So actually I'm going to loosen it all the way until the hole is going this way. I like to feed the guitar string through the inside. That's why I like it perpendicular, and you'll know. I'll show you in just a second what I mean by that. By pulling the string through the hole, it's a lot easier if you just clip it off, because at the end it's all kinked, and you don't want that being yanked through the hole. So that's why we just cut it off, make the job easier. At that point, you can push the string through, and there's the string and the ball end. All right. After you've done this for all the strings, you can start putting the strings back on. Just make sure that you choose the right hole in the back and feed it all the way through. Very important step here is making sure that the ball end is seated nice and firm in the bridge. Okay, now, again, feeding from the inside of the post. Now, as we feed it through, it's actually pretty important to not have too many wraps in the post. So that's why, to keep it nice and even, we're going to give about 2 inches. I just pull up the string like this on all the 7 strings. This is a 7-string guitar. Now, what I do is I just pinch the string a little bit around the post, causing a Z pattern, and now I can let go. It's kind of a hands-free process. Now, trick number 2. As you lock the string on itself, this is the process. What we're going to do is feed the guitar string around the inside of the post, and we're going to want to go underneath the string. Pull it tight. Okay. Now, we're going to pull up on it like that, and it's going to go right around the string, and that is part of the locking process. Now, you want to push the string down so that it feeds down the post. Okay? You don't want it going up the post, you want it to go down the post, because you want to create more tension on the nut by the string going down. Okay? As we tighten it up, actually I'm just about to 1 wrap here. And I'm just going to put the string out of the way. You can put all the strings on the guitar, and you can actually leave the tails on, because one of the last steps here is to clip the strings. Most manufacturers will recommend that you clip the strings off after the tension is fully back on the guitar, because if the strings are loose, if you clip it off and for some reason it's loose here, as you start tightening it, it can actually unwind, and that's not good. You want to leave the tails on until the very end. So we go ahead and clip them off, and at that point, you're done. So, it's not very hard. You want to shoot for under 15 minutes. I think you should be able to do this in under 15 minutes. Just batch everything. Protect the bridge if you have a floating bridge. Take all the strings off at once. Clip them so you can feed them through nice and easy without damaging anything. Then, one at a time, put them back on. We're going to make sure you have slack. You're going to lock the string by going around the post and the inside, underneath the string, and then lock it. And then tighten it up. There you go. It's not too hard of a process. So definitely encourage you to do the same as far as changing your guitar strings and trying to do it in under 15 minutes. Now as far as different bridge styles and nuts and locking tuners, this is a Floyd Rose. Shredneck sells the Trem Block, and we carry this product, and it really helps with Floyd Rose, where you just stick it underneath the bridge there, and it'll help create a stationary bridge. Because if you just let the strings go, it's going to bury itself in the guitar, and you don't want to do that. Next step is you want to loosen up the locking nut here, and you can put everything to the side. You want to take all the strings off. At this point, you're now able to take off the string one at a time at the end by loosening the screw, pulling the block back, and pulling it out. Putting the strings back on the Floyd Rose, it's very important to cut the ball end off, probably an inch past the wrap. You don't want any wrap end in this end of the guitar. So cut the string and ball end off, feed it in, tighten it down, don't over tighten it, just nice and snug, and bring it through. Same process of locking the string. Now as far as the locking nut goes, I definitely recommend getting the guitar up to pitch, and then as far as the fine tuners, just make sure before you put the strings back on and tune it up, put these about midway point so you can go tuning up or fine tune down if you need to. After it's to pitch, you've loosened up all the you've loosened the strings, kind of played it for a couple minutes. Then it's time to actually lock it down. Then you have the ability to fine tune after that. Okay, next we're going to go over another style bridge. And with this guitar, I think you all know what this guitar is. Stop tailpiece. If this is your first time changing guitar strings and you just took all the strings off, all of a sudden, plank, this will fall out. This is not held in by anything other than tension of the strings. So as you loosen up all the strings, make sure that you have your hand on this when you're ready to loosen it and take it right off. At that point, you can actually put it to the side of the tail, clip off the strings, take them out, and then you're good to go without damaging the guitar. Putting it back on, a trick is to put one string on, maybe the fourth string, put it on there, put the tension on there, and tune it up so that that one string will hold that stop tail piece in. And finally, one more trick of putting strings on a guitar that has locking tuners. You don't need wraps on a locking tuner. What we're going to do is just put the string through, actually nice and tight already, and lock it down. Again, not very tight, you don't want to strip any threads. And at that point, you really only need about a half wrap. This guitar only has about a half to 3/4 of a wrap of string around, and that allows for more vibration right on the tuning peg instead of all those coils. That can actually lose the vibration of the string. So that's about covers it as far as the tips and tricks on changing strings on electric guitars. Definitely visit stringsbymail.com. We have a plethora of guitar strings available, and certainly a knowledgeable staff helping you choose the right guitar string for you. And it might not be the first set of strings you try that you fall in love with. There's if you go from pure nickel to stainless steel, you have a wide range of tone as well. So keep the guitar string changing to a minimum. 15 minutes is all you want to take at this. You don't want to spend too long, and you want to get the process down so it's effortless. So thank you for watching. See you later.